7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Are you listening?
Ricky J. Sports.
What is going on, my fellow YouTubers? This is Ricky J, baby, from Ricky J Sports, and welcome to my nice little video on if GSP has what it takes to beat Michael Bisping. Now, for all you guys that don't know me, and a lot of you guys don't know me, I'm a huge GSP fan, man. I'm a Canadian. I live in Canada, and GSP is my favorite welterweight of all time, man. And this is live, by the way, and I'm GSP. But when GSP first started out, he was taking everybody out, man. Beating guys like Jason Mayhem Miller. The Caro Parisian fight was crazy because Joe Rogan was complimenting Caro on how good he was, but GSP was taking him to school on the ground and on the feet. And then, you know, his beatdown of Frank Trigg, Sean Shirk. Oh, man, that Sean Shirk fight was awesome because he took him down and his shot was just explosive. And then eventually he beat BJ Penn, Matt Hughes for the title. You know, lost to Sarah, but then redeemed himself. Beat Koscheck twice, and he was just on a tear, man. Just on a tear, beating everybody. But it wasn't until he had his knee surgery that he seemed to lose some steam, man. Yeah, he really did. It seemed like ever since he had his knee surgery, he lost some steam on his punches. And I've noticed that he seemed to be a step slower. He hasn't found his dynamic explosion that he used to have. And you guys saw it in his last fight, the Hendricks fight. He just didn't seem to have that speed, and he had the lack of punching power. And then for the first time ever, he wasn't the strongest guy in the octagon. Mind you, a lot of people thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this fighting and talking, but a lot of people thought that Hendricks was on steroids. But oh man, I don't know, man. I really don't know how he's going to do. And the thing is with GSP, I found like he panics when it's a stand-up battle, man. I really do. I think even against, I don't know if you guys remember, but against Nick Diaz, you could see it in his eyes, and man, he was looking at the clock, going for his wrestling, which obviously, you know, is the best thing to do. But I think if Bisping can keep it on the feet, it's just going to be tough for George, man. I think it's just going to be tough. And what tools has he developed at 36 years old? As I'm getting hit right there. What tools? Oh, I don't like that spinning kick that he has. But what tools is he going to come up with? You know what I mean? Like, he's been off for so long. You could say ring rust was a factor. Could be a factor, but I just don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. And Bisping is just such a bruiser. If he can hang with Anderson Silva, man, he's going to hang with George on the feet. George needs to mix it up. Use his jiu-jitsu. No one talks about George's jiu-jitsu. He really has to do that. And if he could do that, maybe he could keep Bisping down and maybe go for something. But who knows what's going to happen. But GSP does well, too, when he's the underdog. And in this situation, for the first time in, man, a decade, he is definitely the underdog. When he fought Frank Trigg, everybody thought Trigg was going to run through him and challenge Matt Hughes for the welterweight title. And everyone thought that GSP was just this up-and-coming guy. And then he took him to school. Oh, look at this. If he can, yeah, he took him to school, out-wrestled him. And if you guys can watch that, man, that was probably George's best performance inside the octagon. And I remember Rogan's like, he's almost looks like an amateur Frank Trigg. I may go for a takedown here. But I'm hoping for George, and I'm hoping that George pulls off the victory, but I don't think he's got it in him. But during the interviews, you kind of see a new George St. Pierre. But what does that say, right? And he was doing some interview, and they were asking like the predictions, right? He asked both fighters, asked Bisping, how's this fight gonna end? And he's like, you know what? I give it to George. It's not gonna be an easy fight, and that says a lot coming from Bisping. But he's like, I think it's gonna go to the second round. George is gonna survive the first. And I thought that was kind of disrespectful, you know. Best welterweight champion of all time can only go 2 rounds against a Michael Bisping. But then they panned it over to George, and they asked George the same question. They're like, George, well, how do you think this fight's going to end? And George's answer was, it's going to end in the first round. And that's a pretty bold prediction, you know, considering the fact that GSP hasn't finished anybody since 2009. I don't know, what tricks do you think he has up his sleeve? Has he discovered something inside the gym that he hasn't been using? Or he was saying, and I know he's going to come out with a book when he's all done, about his fear to lose the title. And now, as a challenger, he's going to be hungry to go and get it. Like when he fought Matt Hughes the second time. I'm going to take this to the ground. Look at that. Quick shot. That's what GSP needs to do. But the thing is, I've noticed George's takedowns have, you know, his percentage has gone down. His percentage definitely has gone down. Let's see if we can finish this. Oh. Nice little shot. Trying to be more patient when it comes to the mount. And hesitate. I don't want to live up to George's name. George Rush St. Pierre. And it's over. What? Takes him down and does his thing. But let me know in the comment section below, guys, what you think, man. What you think GSP's going to do. Do you think he stands a chance, or do you think Bisping's going to take him out? I know I'm going to do a prediction video for the whole card, but let me know what you guys think. Also, on a side note, I can't believe I'm telling you guys this, but I'm opening up a secondary account. It's called Ricky J's Adventures, and randomly I'm going to play some adventure games. I didn't want to do that on our channel here, Ricky J Sports, because it says Ricky J Sports. So I opened up, it's actually an old account I have, an old channel, and I renamed it to Ricky J's Adventures. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to play some adventure games here and there, and hopefully we can have some fun outside of the octagon. All right, people, this is Ricky J, baby, from Ricky J Sports. Let me know your thoughts on GSP's chances. You guys are the best, and you are awesome.